Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Do WIT podcast. This is our series on the people that have made it to the finals for South by Southwest EDU student startup competition powered by WIT. So you're getting a chance, listener and viewer, to meet the teams that have made the final round, that they're going to have the chance to pitch in Austin, Texas in March, at a chance of winning some cash and some opportunities to grow their business through some things that we're going to be doing with them for the next 3 months. So let's just start off. We'll just go around. We've got a little bit differently this time. We've got 3 founders on this chat, and I'm going to just start. The first person can just chime in, and the rest of you can go right after. Tell us one word to describe how it felt to get to the finals for the South by Southwest EDU student startup competition.
Excited.
I'd like to say that it was very exhilarating because it was an opportunity that we were all looking forward to grabbing, and we got it. So it was like a very exciting moment once we figured that out. So I'd say exhilarating.
Okay, next.
So I'll say,
go ahead.
I'll say promising, because we think like this opportunity brings in like a lot more. We really just want to spread the reach like of our company and of our product.
Okay, what about you, Harish?
Yeah, I'd also say it's kind of validating. It gave us a sense of proof of concept, knowing that we were one of 5 finalists selected, and that was definitely boosted all of our confidence. So that was definitely cool.
And then who got the email first, or did anybody? Because we sent it out through an email.
Yeah.
So who got that first, or who opened
Yeah,
first?
I got it and immediately forwarded to Mahi and Kaitlin.
Okay, cool. Great. I just love that moment, right? Because you think about that in life, you know, there's a lot of hard moments as a young entrepreneur and even as an older entrepreneur. And so you want to celebrate those moments and kind of relive those fun moments of like, oh, finally we got something, or we got that validation, that recognition. So congrats on earning that. So let's jump into what exactly your business does. So I'm just going to kind of direct this a little bit. So I'll start with Kaitlin. Do you want to tell us what the name of your business is and when you started it?
Yeah, so our business is called Guardial. We started about last summer-ish. Yeah, and it's
okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us what it is, what it does?
So it's a safety app with a simulated phone call as its main feature. So our goal was mainly to deter potential harassers, because like a lot of safety apps, you just like trigger an alert button, you know, after you've been attacked. But we wanted to like give a way to have a more preventative measure. So like with the call, it like actually deters harassers by making people think that somebody's with you in real time. So that was like our main goal with the app.
Okay, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into that, because as you know, founders, when you talk about your business, it seems so obvious to you. And then you have to remember that someone has never heard about it before. So we're getting like a little idea of what it is through that answer, but I want us to dive a little bit deeper so that the viewer and listener walks away from this podcast episode going, I know exactly what that app does, and I can talk about it with my friends, and maybe we can even use it. So I'd like to jump to Harish and say, what problem were you trying to solve with this app?
Sure. So it's a personal safety app designed for women. The targeted market is women ages 18 through 34 in urban cities. And so the main problem was personal safety. And we found that a lot of personal safety apps and solutions on the market for these women honestly had solutions that were able to be used once safety was confirmed. And at that point, danger is confirmed, not safety. And at that point, things may be too late, and you know, it might escalate too quickly. So what we wanted to do is find a preventative measure that could be used to put off the harasser's motivations as soon as possible, and ensure that someone has a solution that can combat all escalation levels of harassment rather than just once danger is confirmed, because at that point you may be too late.
Okay, so what I'm getting so far is a safety app geared for women 18 to 34. The idea being before the attack happens, that you are able to use this app to get help and to protect yourself. Is that right? And I want to make sure I'm saying your name right. Mahi, is that correct?
Yeah, so I guess one common scenario that you can kind of use this app is a lot of times we're taking public transportation, for example, we might not know the person. Let's say we're getting in an Uber and we might not know the Uber driver and maybe we're feeling uncomfortable, or in the subway, or just, walking out in the city. Sometimes we find really uncomfortable situations, and we're told as women a lot of the time to like push our gut or instinct, down, and kind of be like, oh, not everything's fine, like nothing's going wrong. And that sort of feeling, we're trying to eliminate that, of just going based on instinct, not just when there's a confirmed danger. We don't want to wait for that to happen. So what we're trying to do is go just based on instinct. And so we're trying to avoid all the law enforcement and just focus on contacting our trusted friends first, and having these levels of escalation so that we don't wait till the last minute till it gets too big to stop.
Kaitlin, do you want to walk us through what would happen? So, let's go. 18-year-old girl is feeling that she's trusting her gut. I love this idea of reminding people to trust their gut, as obviously I'm older than everybody here on this podcast, and I've done my fair share of traveling solo around the world. And obviously I've been a teenager, and as a woman, I've also had that feeling of people being like, you're supposed to be kind, you're supposed to be nice, you're not supposed to be rude, you're not supposed to walk across the sidewalk to the other side of the street if you feel uncomfortable, because that means that you're like profiling somebody, and a lot of times it's just a feeling in your gut, but you're taught to ignore that because you're supposed to be nice and kind and accommodating. So I love that you're inviting people to tune into that feeling and then do something about it. So Kaitlin, there's an 18-year-old feeling uncomfortable. How do they do, what's happening, and walk us through what that looks like with the app?
Yeah, of course. So you can just pull up the app, and the homepage, it's really simple and easy to use. It's just a large button, and basically you trigger the call whenever you feel like you might enter a potentially dangerous situation, or just feel, that feeling in your gut.
Mm-hmm.
So once you trigger it, it turns into a black screen. So nobody around you is going to think that like you're triggering a fake call, right? It's just going to come out of nowhere. It's going to be an incoming phone call. And so you can like let go of the screen, and any of that time, the phone call is going to come in, and then you can pick it up and interact with it like a normal phone call. And then within that call, you can put on speakerphone, and it's going to be basically an audio that may like let them know, like everyone around you, that somebody knows where you are, that they're expecting you, that they'll come look for you if anything goes wrong. And then if you do feel like unsafe at all and you think that something might happen, you can trigger buttons within that call that'll like send messages to your contacts.
So is it a real call coming in, or is it a recorded call that you're just using in a state of emergency?
It's a recorded call. Yeah.
I think that's a really important thing to share, because I don't know if that was really clear to the listener, and I want them to know that this is something that's already pre-recorded, so that it's not that you have to also be worried that no one's going to pick up on the other end. This is a pre-recorded call that's coming through that you trigger using this app. And so it would let anybody around you know that like they would think it's a real call, and that they're saying, I'm assuming it's something about like, hello, or how are, I don't, something, right? I mean, you tell me Harish, what does it sound like? What's the call coming through?
Yeah, so it basically has dialogue that is deterring. And so it'll say things like, hey, I have your location. I see where you are. I'm expecting you soon. Everyone's waiting for you. Dad's getting anxious. He's going to come out for you. And so just dialogue to further deter anyone. And so you can put this on speakerphone, or the normal setting is just the regular quiet phone call. So you don't need to publicize it if you don't want. And beyond that, in the call, there's 3 color-coded buttons based on the situation you're in. So if you're safe, you can tap the green button and end the call with your safety pin, which only you will know. So you have to confirm that you're the one saying you're safe. And if you feel like a little bit unsafe, but the danger is not confirmed, there's a yellow button for that. And that will send a warning message to all of your preset contacts. Like, hey, I'm feeling unsafe, watch over my location, and I'll have a link to the user's location on Google Maps. And then there's a red button that says danger is confirmed. And so at this point, it sends a message to the preset contacts of the user, and it will say things like, the user is in danger, please contact emergency services, and we'll also have the link to the user's location. And in addition to those messages, it will end the simulated call and take you to a real phone call with your starred contact. So a bit about the contacts: you can set 6 preset contacts within the app before you use it, and 6 of your trusted contacts, and you'll star one of them that you trust the most, you think will pick up the most, probably, your really close friend or a parent. And if your starred contact will receive the real phone call when you tap red.
Fantastic. Thanks for walking us through that. So Kaitlin, where are we at with this? I mean, is it something that people can go download today? Is it something that you're still beta testing? What's the real on what's going on here?
Yeah, so we have a version 1.0 that's pretty much ready to like hit the app stores and play stores. So that's going to go into beta testing. And right now we're looking for more beta testers. And then once we release it, which is happening pretty soon, anyone can download it on the App Store and go check it out and give us some feedback.
So we're going to get even more clear because we like to speak in like specifics on this podcast because not that, that typical like entrepreneur jargon that we're like, oh yeah, coming soon. Or like, yeah, we're doing like, we all do it, right? I'm an entrepreneur. We talk like that, but we really want people to understand the process of like where you are in this. And it's inspiring to people too, because they could say, wow, like maybe they're not even launched yet, but they still made it to the finals for this competition. That's actually really cool to know that you don't have to be fully launched to get validity and to move your ideas forward. So can they get it today to the listener? Because let's just say this probably is going to go live in January. Will they be able to download it by the time they listen to this?
The goal is that they will be able to. Obviously, the App Store process is unpredictable, the review process, so we can't predict anything. But as of right now, the app is actually complete and we're getting our developer to create certificates on the developer program and all that good stuff to get it launched.
Okay. So for those of you that don't really understand the app process, like me, it sounds like you can create an app, but then eventually you can have the app created and ready to go, but that doesn't mean that you can actually go download it right away. So who wants to take this question of like the process of having the app ready to go, but yet we can't go download it right away today because of X, Y, and Z? Who can explain here on the call the X, Y, and Z part of it?
Yeah, so the X, Y, and Z is essentially the App Store review process. So iOS has its own process, Android has its own process, and iOS is usually a little bit more difficult. And essentially what it means is there's a group of people from iOS that will review your app, see if there's any concerns, any potential privacy concerns, data concerns, anything that they wouldn't want on their app store. And so once they can go through all those check marks and ensure your app is safe for people to use, they'll then accept they'll either accept it or offer some kind of improvements for you to make before they accept it. And once you guys are on the same page, then they'll accept it and it will be on the App Store. So that's kind of how the process works.
Are there any like nerves around what if they come back and they don't approve it? I mean, I always want to make sure I'm saying your name right. Say it for us.
It's Mahi.
Mahi. Okay. Mahi, how are you feeling? Like, are you like nervous that they might not take it?
Yeah. So I'm excited actually to see whether they will take it or maybe give us a few suggestions. But I know that in the end of the day, we will have time to make to like incorporate their suggestions and their feedback. And so if it doesn't go through the first time, we can always make more adjustments and then we go through the second time. So I think the process of like receiving feedback and making improvements on it, I don't think it hurts us at all. But I'm very excited.
I totally agree. If any entrepreneur is listening and thinks otherwise, it's going to kind of suck for you because you got to love the process. You got to love that what you come out in the world with. I mean, I think about when I started WIT over a decade ago and what it is today, it's totally different. And if I'd resisted the feedback and the iterations and the pivots, then I wouldn't be successful because I would have been like, no, it has to be this, and this. And it sounds like for all of you, if this ultimate goal is putting into place a safety app for this demographic that needs it, then however that turns out to be, it's okay if it's not exactly the same version that you came out with. I mean, is that how you feel, Kaitlin? Are you open to the pivots and the iterations?
Yeah, we've actually faced like a lot of pivots with this app. Like our product right now is not what we initially imagined. But we've like done testing before. We've done like MVP testing. We've had like other iterations before this because we just really want to make a product that we can get out there as soon as possible, but still have it, like a quality safety app that will help like protect people and make people feel safe. So we're definitely welcome to more pivots and suggestions.
Which is such a wonderful, wonderful mindset to have to those listening and watching that. I sometimes I think that entrepreneurship has become trendy where it's like, oh yeah, I'm an entrepreneur. I watched Shark Tank and now I'm going to be an entrepreneur. But the ride or dies, the ones that are like in it to win it, we kind of have a obsession with the process and knowing that, you know, the setbacks almost fuel us to like be better. And those of you that are listening to this can't see the guests, but they're nodding their heads as I'm saying that too. I'm seeing too, the young women are nodding their heads about where I'm talking about enjoying the process, and Mahi's got a big smile on her face. So I think that we're onto something here, like a group of entrepreneurs that are actually here for the journey, not just the destination. Is this just, we can go around the room here. We can start with you, Harish. Is this the first business for you?
Yeah, for me it is.
Okay. All right. Kaitlin, you want to go next? Is this your first?
Yep, the first.
And okay. Oh, okay. So this is the first one. Okay. What are your pro tips for the person who is also on their first business? Maybe think of it as what do you wish you knew before getting started on this entrepreneurial journey? What advice you would give to yourself, your year ago self, when you your summer self, when you were starting this? Whoever wants to go first, go ahead.
I guess I'll start. The two biggest pieces of advice I could give are keep moving quickly. I think the biggest problem we faced as a team in the initial stages was moving too slowly. We lost momentum, we often lost excitement, and we just didn't make a lot of progress. So I think when you have some processes in place to be able to move quickly, iterate quickly, talk to people, and just have that momentum going throughout your company, you'll feel a lot more, you'll be a lot more, what's it called? You'll be able to make a lot more progress quickly, and it won't slow you down. I think speed is one of the biggest things.
Do you think, I'm not going to put words in your mouth. So just you tell me if I'm wrong, because you know you better than I do. Sometimes there is, when things don't happen as fast, I totally relate to that. Like you kind of lose the momentum, maybe the enthusiasm, or maybe as a team, right? You have 3 people on the team. That's a lot of personalities. It's a lot of different ways of doing things. But you seem to demonstrate, Harish, some resilience because you kept going even through those moments where you didn't really have that momentum or passion. Can you share with us like what got you through those moments when you really were like, I'm over this, or maybe over my team, or whatever those feelings were?
Yeah,
that we all feel at some point.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I was really over my team or anything like that. I think I always did believe in the idea that we had, and I feel like it was something special. I didn't want to just let it go to waste. And because I just didn't want to let something special go to waste, so I knew we had to push through to eventually find something. Because throughout the process, we've participated in a few competitions. We've talked to a lot of people in the target market, and a lot of the times our concept was validated, and we realized that it was such an important solution to a pressing problem that was really widespread. And so I didn't want to lose the opportunity of creating something like this. And I knew, even though if I didn't feel like it at that moment, I'd have to push through and eventually find a way to make it work.
Love that. I think it's really relatable. I do work that I'm passionate about. I mean, it's my company. I mean, I built it. I care a lot about teen entrepreneurship, and there are days when I don't always have that passion, enthusiasm, and momentum, but I try to keep that why in mind. It sounds like that's what you did in those moments, and you knew you had something valuable. And if you could just kind of keep going and maybe try again the next day, that maybe that momentum would increase again. So I love that you're sharing and normalizing the ebb and the flow of passion, even for businesses that you really care about and are your own. It's not, I always want to tell young entrepreneurs, just because you found something that you really care about or you're really passionate about doesn't mean that you're going to feel stoked on it every single day, like 24 hours a day. Let's jump to Kaitlin. I think the original question was about advice or tips to the person who's starting out and the first entrepreneur as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, so I would say be ready to wear a lot of hats. Like especially for a startup, you're going to be doing a lot of different things. Like it's not going to be what you originally thought you would be doing. Like there's no specific role. But with that, I think that you should have a structure planned out, especially for us, since we all live in different places, sometimes like different time zones. It's kind of hard for us to always like contact each other continuously. So we have to have like a weekly meetings like scheduled, just make sure all of us can be out there at the same time and talk about what we need to do.
All right. I'm going to, last but certainly not least, what is your advice?
Yeah, I actually have two pieces of advice. The first advice I would say is, like Harish said, pick a problem that is very impactful to you. I feel like that is going to motivate you through the hard times. And also something that's impactful, I feel like people in the market can't deny it because it is a problem that needs a solution. And that sort of will help you propel you through a lot of initial early round questions because the investors will start to believe in your vision as much as you believe in the vision. And I think that's really important to pick a problem with a big impact or something that really matters to you. And it also helps obviously in the times where you lose motivation or you have less momentum. It really helps, keep the momentum, or even if it's slow momentum, it just keeps the progress going. And then the second thing I would say is don't be afraid to ask for help and mentorship. This is something that I learned also when I was creating one of my other projects, but I realized that sometimes as teens, we're expected to we're expected to know finance, we're expected to know how to market perfectly, we're expected to know how to pitch perfectly. And there's so many different things that we're expected to know in a business, and we might not always have that experience, but someone with 30 years of experience is a lot more valuable at that point. And so consulting that person, not being afraid to in fact shoot your shot and say, hey, can I talk to you for 10 minutes and ask you for help on this? I think that is really important in a startup.
I love that part about asking for help. I was doing an interview, I think it was yesterday. I'm on a week of just recording podcast episodes. And I was saying, actually, maybe it was a conversation with another finalist for this competition. And I said to him, you might have this feeling inside of you that you shouldn't ask me questions as you go through this process, this next 3 months. But I've always thought that questions are a sign of intelligence and a sign of self-advocacy, because I think that's a sign of self-love, that you're saying, I'm not going to sit here confused and stressed out. I'm going to instead just take the initiative and ask the question. And I said, so I know in the school system, you've kind of been taught that asking a question, you can kind of get those teachers that are like, oh, okay, Sarah, yeah, what's the question? And I'm like, this is not that environment at WIT. We want you to ask the questions because you've only been on the planet for 15 years, 16 years. How are you supposed to know all these things? And there's not many entrepreneurship programs out there. I mean, that's why WIT exists, because it's not being taught, normalized in school. Financial literacy, marketing, personal branding, that's not being taught. So how are you supposed to know those things? So I'm like, ask for help, ask those questions. And then I have to take my own advice, because sometimes I'm like, oh, I feel so stupid, reaching out to this person and asking a question that I could probably just Google, but talking to somebody who has expertise in an area is so valuable. And so I love that you're encouraging people to ask for help. We are coming up on time, and we usually start our podcast episodes with rapid fire questions to the guest to get to know them. That we didn't do that here because there's 3 of you, and that would just be a lot going on. But I do want to ask a few questions of each person, just to kind of have them get a sense to get to know you a little bit outside of just being the founder, not just, but being the founders of this company. So I'll just go, I'll start with Mahi. And okay, tell us how old you are.
I'm 17.
And where do you live?
I live in California, in Saratoga, so in the Bay Area.
Okay. And what do you like to do when you're not working on the biz?
I like learning languages. It sounds very I guess nerdy or quirky, but I recently in the pandemic, I've been really into watching movies with different languages and subtitles, and it's always really nice to be able to relate to the movie better if you know the culture. So I've been into learning a lot of languages, so that's something new that I've been trying out.
And do you have a go-to snack or beverage, coffee drink that you enjoy when you're working on the business? When you're sitting down to work, is there a go-to setup for you?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's necessarily recommended, but I like chocolate a lot, especially sometimes when I'm craving a little bit of sweetness, but I don't want it to be too sweet. I'll have dark chocolate or something. That's really nice. So yeah.
Because everybody has it. Everyone who's working on their business has like something that they kind of go to kind of like set the tone for like, now I'm going to sit down and do this thing. Now, I know that Kaitlin and Harish heard the questions, but don't think that those are the only, that I'm not going to mix it up a little bit. So you can't just like know exactly what's coming, but I'm going to jump to Harish. So tell us, how old are you?
I'm 16 years old.
Say it again. We didn't hear you.
I'm 16.
16 years old. Okay. And where do you live?
In Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas. And are you binge watching any shows right now? Is there anything that you're enjoying during this holiday break?
I do binge watch, but I don't binge watch shows. I watch YouTube. That's all I go to.
Yes, I've had another guest on here, Kayla, I think that was talking about that. So is there anything that what is your YouTube choice?
Yeah, I like watching like those video essays / video short documentaries. Those are super interesting. They're oftentimes like about the creator economy or just like cool business concepts.
I love that. Okay. Yeah. You're going to have to, I don't know, give us some recommendations for those that want to check them out, because I feel like I'd be overwhelmed trying to figure out where the good ones are, but okay. And what is a goal that you have for yourself personally in 2022?
Personally, I'd say one of the big ones is definitely to grow Guardial to like a substantial amount of users. But besides this company, I'd say for myself, I do want to get more involved with the creator economy. It's just like super interesting for me. So I definitely want to try to either intern as some kind of creative agency or, get involved myself and start creating content. I think it's super interesting. So that's something I want to push myself to do.
Do you have a dream agency that you want to work at as an intern?
I wouldn't say I have one dream agency. There's a lot of cool ones. Often some that are not as known are often really interesting and innovative. So there's a lot of choices.
This was your chance to put it out into the universe. I was trying to get you to like drop a name that we could then tag them in the episode. So I was trying to tee you up for your summer internship. So think of it. And if you think of it, your closing comments can be an answer. We can do that. Okay. Kaitlin, I'm going to jump to you. Okay. Tell us how old you are.
I'm 18.
And where do you live?
I live in Dallas, Texas.
Okay. And where can we find you when you're not busy working on the app?
I like to frequent a lot of coffee shops, and like, I'm a big foodie. So I like trying new foods around the area.
Okay. What's your drink of choice at the coffee shop?
It's kind of basic, but matcha green tea latte. I've been getting it lately.
And do you have a favorite new restaurant in the Dallas area that you've checked out that you recommend? Or a favorite that you enjoy going to?
There's this really good dessert place in Plano called Meat Fresh. It has like Taiwanese like ice desserts kind of. So I like going there.
Okay. And what's a goal you have for the business in 2022? You look ahead and let's just imagine that what's today? It's December 29th, 2022. What do you want to have accomplished with your business by then?
I definitely want to have like more iterations of the app. So we have a lot of the like features that we planned for that we just didn't put in, the first version, just because this is only the first version. We were planning to grow a lot. So we want to do more expansions like video recordings, just so we can give users like more features, to help them protect themselves. And I also definitely want to expand our reach. Like Harish said, we want to get more users. We want to help people, and we want to be able to like reach more people through different channels.
And do you have a favorite album you're listening to or a song that's on repeat?
Recently, I've been listening to a lot of Bozzy, which is more like summer recap, but a little bit of nostalgia. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that your fellow teens like it's so funny. I'll hear from people, they'll be like, oh, it's like these moments where you feel connected and you feel a relativeness, because everyone's at different stages with their business. But when you find out that this person on the podcast that's being interviewed is listening to the same kind of music that you're listening to, there's like senses of like familiarity and like together and connection, which can sound silly to some people, but I've seen it happen over and over again with teens, that if you have these kind of like small things in common, it's a fun way to feel connected and to feel comfortable reaching out, because that's what we want you, the listener and watcher, to know, that the teens that come on here they're available to you to connect with and to reach out to and to follow along on their entrepreneurial journey and hopefully be inspired. Do we have an Instagram that people can follow, Kaitlin?
Yeah, you can find us at Guardial Co.
Okay. Do you want to spell that just because?
Yeah. So GUARD and then IAL and then CO. So it's like Guardial Co.
Okay. And just to the listener and the viewer, what I'm hoping for is that a year from now, you have all downloaded this app, that it's out into the world and people are using it and enjoying maybe version 3.0 by then, who knows? But I just want to congratulate the guests here today for making it to the final round of the South by Southwest EDU Student Startup Competition powered by WIT, happening in Austin, Texas in March. These young leaders and entrepreneurs are going to go on a journey these next few months with some coaching from WIT and opportunities from WIT, like podcast episodes, TV appearances, so they can get more and more comfortable talking about their business with all of you and get some brand awareness. And behind the scenes, we are hoping that they are still what we call doing WIT on their business, working hard and leveling up on a regular basis while also taking care of themselves, because we don't believe in burnout here at WIT, because that's so my generation. That doesn't have to be your generation. My generation thought that was a cool way to be an entrepreneur. Let's burn them out as hard as they, and fast as they can, and then like brag about it. But that's what a lame approach that was. Any final thoughts? We'd like to leave with the youth voice, the teen voice. Do you have anything that you want to share? This is your time.
Yeah, I guess one thing I'd like to share is if you are interested in giving feedback to our version 1.0 that's going to be on the App Store, you can do that through surveys or having an interview with us on a Zoom call. You can go to our website and sign up to be a beta tester for version 1.0. And you can meet the website at guardial.unicornplatform.page. We have a new website coming soon, but that's our one for now.
Ooh, that's a long one. Why don't you just visit them on Instagram first and then reach out for the website? Because we'll work on that behind the scenes to streamline that. So by the time you pitch, we're not saying that as your website.
Sure.
But it's good, friends. This is the thing. I love having this podcast and love working with young entrepreneurs, is that the journey is fun. It's funny. It's like we've all started with like website. I mean, I see so many websites that are like .wix, this, that, because they haven't quite bought the domain yet. It's okay. It's a misconception that it has to be perfect to roll out. It's not, done is better than perfect, good's better than perfect, whatever that expression is. Failing fast. I think Kaitlin kind of addressed that earlier today, the idea of like just getting the stuff out there and getting the feedback and loving the process. So just thank you. I want to make sure that our young ladies have a chance to share any final words. Do you have anything you'd like to share?
Yeah, if the website was too long, just go to our Instagram bio and you'll find all our links with all of our sites. So you can check that out. Just go to the bio.
Kaitlin, anything you want to share?
Yeah, if you want to like ask us anything about the app or contact any of us, then you're definitely welcome to. And we always respond to DMs on Instagram too.
I love that. I love that you're making yourself available. And listener, watcher, go check it out. How cool to be part of the process of developing this, so that when it keeps, iterating, you get to be like, yeah, I know this. I get, that's my feedback in action. And be part of the process. You can also learn a lot through this. So take advantage of their offer to connect with you. Thank you again, the team, for being here. Congratulations again on making the finals. And wherever this podcast finds you, I hope it finds you making it a great day. And if it's not a great day so far, well, just remember you're one choice away, one action away from turning your day around by doing WIT. Show up for yourself, show up for others. And remember that your voice matters. It doesn't matter how long you've been on this planet. You have ideas and they're worth hearing and worth creating into reality. So thanks for tuning in. Hope you like, share, subscribe, all of the things of this episode, and keep doing WIT.